Yo, Real Do to Kill podcast. Maybe back with another one. Subscribe, rate, review, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. I promise I'm not gonna ban y'all no more. I'm gonna post on YouTube more. I promise. I'm not gonna ban y'all no more. And iHeartRadio. And I appreciate everybody for buying the T-shirts. And we almost had 25,000 downloads. So please, after this episode, um, download it and everything because this is National Podcast Day.
National Podcast
Yes,
Day.
and we have. We gonna go by your real name this time, right?
Oh, of course, man.
All
Because
right. You're in front of the
I'm
camera now.
in front of the camera, so Easy Corner's officially back. So we have to start it off like we all started off. Another day, another dollar. You know how I grind. It's another episode of the Easy Corner, but it's a special edition. Very, very special. I get to do it with the Real Deal with a Kill. So instead of being the cameraman, another episode of Easy Corner. So should we start off by?
Yeah, so I think this is a special episode because of the person we have on as a guest, and I have you with the Easy Corner collab. So I want you to properly introduce because you the leader of introducing. You better than me introduce. I still got to figure out my introduction.
First of all, man, you already know, man. We live from, I like to say the crib. We live from the crib. You good? We good.
Camera woman is on it.
So all right, so this we're gonna do. So before you gonna go to introduction, we have a new camera person behind the camera. Nobody, no, it's a fine. I mean, bloopers happen.
Love it.
So that's the great thing about the podcast. Podcast is pre-recorded. It's not live. It's not on air. Anything like that. So I had the opportunity to edit things out. But when somebody as clumsy as this person does stuff like that, I'm not going to edit it out. And I'm going to tag the person. And I hope that the camera fell in front of the other camera. That way they can see what happened. So the Johnny Hooks, if y'all know her, shout out to her. The new intern camera person, first day on the job, dropped the camera. So that's what happened.
It's all good.
Oh my God, y'all are making me nervous.
That's what happened.
Let me have a sip of water. I just need a little water break.
Yeah, that happens though. I mean, it's part of it. But as you was interrupted, Easy, you can start off with the introduction.
Welcome to the crib.
Well, welcome to the crib, but my guest, I describe her as fearless. I describe her as determined. I describe her in a lot of plethora of ways. Great person, great ambassador, great philanthropist. Ladies and gentlemen, her name is Sonya Brown Marshall.
Here we go. Yes. Yeah.
She's running for Missouri City, large position, Council 1. But despite all that, I'm looking to the camera. She is my mother. She is my mom. My mommy. So this episode is gonna get. We're gonna take a blast from the past. It's gonna be emotional, but we're gonna get to the hard-hitting stuff. It's election time. So Mama, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. From my son's friends. I'm most appreciative. I thank you guys so much for letting me jump on y'all's podcast today.
It's an honor.
I appreciate it, especially in honor of National Podcast Day.
Right. It was only right.
It was only right, right?
We don't
So
got the
look here.
downloads like a kill, though. We don't have to.
We're going to get them, though.
We'll get them. That'll take time.
It'll take a little time.
That takes time. Before we go on with the topics, I do want to present you with a T-shirt. And, it was only right. We had to present you.
Right. You got.
That's right. I'm in the thing. Y'all, I'm official.
For the culture.
For the culture.
Yes.
But you know what I like about this shirt the most? Mm-hmm. A closed mouth don't get
Fed. There you go.
So honestly, when you think about it, Akil, that can really
Real deal.
can jump into our first topic. Like obviously she's running for council, the position large at 1, closed mouth don't get fed. So I'm gonna open the discussion is what made you decide to run for this position?
Yeah.
Wow, E, straight off the bat. I like that question. I really do. Here's the truth of the matter of it. I knew I was gonna run 15 years ago. I knew that. I always knew that I was going to run for city council. I had been approached about running for city council quite a few times, but it wasn't the right time then. It just really was not. I was engulfed in my business,
15 years ago, yeah, you had
raising my boys,
Yeah.
15 years ago.
and I was super, super busy. And this time around, the opportunity came. I'm more than qualified and capable. I've been working inside of the city of Missouri City,
Yeah.
and it's time. I have the skill set. It's more than time. It's time for me to get on off of the committees that I've been serving on for the city of Missouri City, step it up a notch, take what I've learned, and pull my city forward. We've got to move to the future. So that's why I'm
Right.
running.
And I know you said 15 years ago too, because I was actually going to ask. I was thinking about that this whole time of what made you do it, you know, and for you to have this thought 15 years ago. Why? What was happening 15 years ago to be like, okay, I've been thinking about this. Now 15 years later, I'm going to run in 2022.
Me and Peyton.
Right there.
Really?
I would probably venture to say because 15 years ago, I mean, I'm a business owner.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's just, that's off the rip.
Right.
So I do run, I run a business. I own a firm, and I'm proud of my firm. I had that going on. I was a basketball mom at that time. May as well just say I was a traveling AAU for real mom. So I mean, where my boys were, that's where I was.
Yeah.
And Mr. Anthony was on the traveling path. Their dad, and so it took up a lot of our time. And during those moments, we were dedicated to being there for our kids. Running for city council and getting on city council, that's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so now I have some flexibility. I honestly, I'm just going to be real about it. I thank God now that I have some time that I can invest in this and I can be free a little bit more to do it. 15 years ago, it just wasn't the right time.
Right.
Mom first
Exactly.
and wife first.
Right.
Yeah. What do you see that you can change in this city? Because, Mom, like I said, we've been here for a very, very, very long time. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. We've been through it all here in this city. So what is the improvements, knowing that you're the candidate elect, that you feel that you can make changes for?
I can't wait until I'm the candidate elect. Thank you, son. Speak it into existence.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Great question. And this is real. And this is something that a real deal. This is something that you guys may not even know or think about because of course age.
Yeah.
So I bought my first home here in Missouri City when I was 23 years old. And I bought my second home here in Missouri City when I was 26 or 27 years old. And now I'm in my third home here in Missouri City. And the reason why I'm putting an emphasis on the word home is because the city of Missouri City was really and truly built upon what they call a bedroom community. Meaning we don't have a whole lot of businesses out here.
Right.
We got a lot of houses out here.
Yeah.
I mean, there are homes. So what's happening with our society now is as we're moving and changing, and honestly how we now live, how we work, how we play, it's different than from it was when I moved out here 28 years ago. People are now working from home. People are now wanting walkable communities. They're wanting entertainment that's right here close to them. Let me ask y'all a question. If I say, come on, let's go do something fun for entertainment, where are y'all going?
In the city.
In what city? Y'all not going nowhere here in Missouri City. Where you going?
Nah.
You going to Houston. When you said the city, what's the city?
Inside of Houston.
You going inside
Midtown,
of Houston?
Galleria,
Midtown,
Heights.
Galleria, Heights, absolutely. You know, we don't have anything like that here. And I'm telling you, people want to walk. They love it. They love the idea of the meandering around and moving, and people are now more physically fit than ever before. The city of Missouri City has a plethora of parks, and I mean they are gorgeous,
Right.
beautiful parks.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody coming to the city of Missouri City to see our parks.
No.
And our parks cannot generate income. We have got to find other revenue streams that's going to bring other money inside of this city so that it can help lower our property taxes.
Yeah.
Because our property taxes ain't no joke over here, y'all. They high.
Yeah.
And on top of property taxes being up so high right now, we're looking right now at market values that we have never seen before, ever. So when the market value is real high up on your property, And then the taxing authority comes in and they say, well, hey, we've got to set tax rates and this and that. But you know what? A long time ago, we had this cute little thing called tax value, market value.
Right.
And now the tax man has come in and said, we want market value too.
Right.
So if I can't get our tax rates down by bringing in additional income or additional revenue streams into our city, we're going to keep staying at tax rates that's going to keep our property taxes high. Everybody's crying. We want more public service. We don't see enough police. Do we have enough fire? Do we have enough this? Everybody just wants. And I don't have a problem with that. But because I have business savvy that stands up and backs behind me, I understand the math.
Yeah.
I also understand marketing. I also understand that if we don't get up and go out here and solicit some different types of businesses to come in here and sit inside of our city to help reduce our property tax, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer a bedroom community. We are open for business.
Yeah, and it's crazy looking at different parts of Missouri City. Because I guess it led to my next question. Well, the first question I want to ask was council at large position 1. What role, what kind of role does that come with? Because a lot of people don't know that position. So what is the role for council at large?
I'm so glad you asked. That's an excellent question. Of course, I could tell you what the charter says that role is. I could tell you what the definition and all of that stuff is, but I'm going to break it down to you very simply. Missouri City has 4 districts inside of our city. We have districts A, B, C, and D. Okay? So we have 4 council members one council member takes care of District A, one council member takes care of B, 1 C, and 1 D.
Okay.
We have 2 at-large seats. At-large position 1, that's who I'm running. That's what I'm running for. And we have at-large position 2. So while these 4 council members only are responsible for their 1 district, the 2 at-large seats, we're over all of the districts.
So
and not over them, I don't want to say that, but we make decisions on behalf of the entire landscape of the city. And then, of course, we have the mayor's seat.
Right.
And the mayor is at the helm of the city.
Yeah.
So make no doubt about it. When I get on city council and I'm sitting up there, I'm making decisions for everybody.
The entire city of Missouri
The
City.
entire city of Missouri City.
I guess that led
policy.
Right, so I guess that led to my question because growing up in Crow Green West,
Yeah.
for like 14 years, seeing 2234 this side, because when you cross the railroad tracks, you're going towards Pearland. You see that other side of 2234 that leads to Pearland, and you see how it's all cleaned up, nice and everything. But when you come back down to Missouri City, you see the Dollar Generals. You used to have the Kroger. You don't got that no more. You see that area by Riddle Ridge and everything is like kind of getting ran down a little bit. What changes can we see with that area? Because I always said like I don't think we're ever gonna see that area 2234 like how we see it's Pearland or how I grew up.
Like how the Cinema 6 is not there.
Cinema 6, a lot of things that was taken away from us. We don't really got. We got City Trends.
I got you. I hear you.
We don't have the Kroger.
I'm gonna speak on it, and this.
A lot of barbershops too.
A lot of barbershops, a lot of nail salons, got a lot of fried chicken,
Liquor stores.
You got about 7 gas stations and another one.
So the money's not obviously put into it.
So let's talk about that, okay? This particular year, for over the last year, I'm appreciative of City Councilman Jeff Boney and Mayor Robin Alacap. They are 2 current sitting council people, and they both have always wanted to do something with FM 2234.
Okay.
Every politician that runs, they always say, I'm going to do something with FM 2234. I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to do something with it. Okay, nothing was happening. So this last year, they stood up and put their money where the mouth was. Okay. And they set aside $2.5 million for the redevelopment and investment for improvements on FM 2234.
We do see HCC.
HCC, thank you for coming in. I'm going to tell you a story about HCC too here in just a minute. But with that $2.5 million, what we were able to do was make some incentive plans to try to bring in some new restaurants, new sit-down restaurants. And I missed a part because they also placed me on a committee called the Texas Parkway Cartwright Corridor Committee. And what we did inside of our committee is we decided how we were going to have that $2.5 million spent on improvements towards the FM 2234 corridor.
Right.
So part of the deal is we did come in and we did some landscaping that was $200,000. I'm dispelling the myth. Somebody's out there putting out that Missouri City spent $2.5 million on landscaping. That's not true.
Wow.
It's about $200,000 on some landscaping improvements along all of the islands that run down that way. Hey, shout out to my Texas Parkway Corridor committee members. You guys did fantastic work. From there, we also set up a deal for facade improvements where current businesses that are on the corridor, they could come and they could apply for monies to go towards them fixing up their businesses.
Yeah.
Now, they did have to meet some type of criteria in order for them to get that, but those were the efforts that came out this time around that we're working on. But your question was, how do I feel about 2234? What's going on with it? What can I do? Let's talk about it. Don't get mad at me, y'all. But we got to educate our people first and foremost.
Do it.
We got to do that. We got to elevate people. We got to get people understanding that it's okay to have new and diverse types of developments to come in.
Yeah.
Because people change. Things change. It's just the nature of the system. We've got to get away from the point of we think that everything is supposed to be free or cheap. Because when we do that, we lessen the value. We lessen our value. That's just my opinion. Nobody has to agree with me on that, but that's my opinion. I can bring it all the way from Hunters Glen 1 and 2. And this is real talk. I'm probably going to get smacked for this one, but I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I will not allow one developer to come inside of this city and write a set of deed restrictions for any community that's going to strap hold them and turn them into a gentrification period. And let me tell you what I mean by that, because everybody has something to say about what I do for a living. A homeowners association can be powerful, but it's powerful backed by the people who serve on those boards and make them run. When a developer comes in and they set up a homeowners association, but they write crazy stuff inside of the deed restrictions that say the max amount of money that you can ever go up is $108 per year. Now, mind y'all, Hunters Glen 1 and 2 was built in the early 80s, we'll say.
80s, yeah.
Early 80s. So, how old is that subdivision right now? From 80 to 2022?
Late 30s or...
Okay, so somebody do me a favor when y'all get a chance, not y'all, but we'll just do CPI right now on $108, let's say from 1987. And today is 2022. They are still paying $108 annually for their HOA dues. And people want to sit back and laugh at them because they don't have all of the nicer amenities or the fancy flowers up on FM 2234 or the fancy brick walls that go around their subdivision. So developers, I'm telling you now, please don't come to me as a city councilman asking me to let you write in things that are going to hurt subdivisions long-term down the line.
Yeah.
That's a detriment. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
And when that happens, that same type of agitation that developer has done to that subdivision, now it's very hard for the people that live in there to understand the only way that we can bring you up, we got to have money to do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to go up. They just want to keep paying $108 a year for their HOA dues, but they want more. We can't give you more if there's not any money.
Right.
And so when you start seeing one area of town start to decline, it's systemic. So I took it from Hunters Glen 1 and 2. That whole is just, if you look at it all the way across.
Yeah.
And it's everybody's mentality that somebody was supposed to stay and take care of them. And that's true. But when developers come in and they do things like that, it's hurtful.
Yeah.
Let's move across the street and talk about HCC.
Right.
And I'm going to let y'all, because I'm just talking.
No. This is you. You're supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm also a planning and zoning commissioner for the city of Missouri City. I've been doing that for the last 18 years. I'm also the chair of that committee.
Okay.
Well, many years ago, when I first got on that committee, not when I first got on, it's been some years back. Right on that land where Houston Community College sits, y'all know there was nothing there. It was just land. That's
Yeah, it
all
was.
it
It was just
was.
land. I remember.
And we had a developer come before my governing body, and he presented a case, and he wanted to put a gas station there. And I said, I was one of the few on that night, and on that particular commission that I'm on, there are 9 commissioners. And I'm gonna say this too. At that time, I believe I may have been, for certain, I was the only female on the commission. And I'm not sure if I was still the only African American or not, but for a long time, I was the only female and the only African American on that commission. And shout out to my peers right there, too, for entrusting that in me. I have led y'all for a long time, at least 10 years now as chair. But prior to this, before HTC came on, I was not the chair, nor was I even vice chair. I was just a commissioner. And I told that man on that night, I said, no, I'm going to decline. I'm not voting for your project. Well, all of my other commissioners were very upset with me because they were like, well, you need to vote for this project. No, 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 no. I'm no one's puppet. This is
Yep.
my vote. I'm going to vote how I see fit. And for me, I saw better for that piece of land than a gas station that was going to go there. I had no political ties. I wasn't involved with anybody. I didn't know anything. The next day, I went to work. The owner of the land called me on the phone. Now, how he got my number, who knows? Miss Brown, I'd like to talk to you. I said, yes, sir. Do you know who this is? Well, no, I don't know who this is. Well, this is Dr., I think his name was Dr. Fredericks. He says, I'm old now, and I'd like to see that land develop and sold into something before I die.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
well, sir, I understand that. And I say, I get it. And it should be. But I just really would like to see you go back to the table and bring something that's more viable for that lot over there. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Miss Brown, you're trying to be a what did he call it? It's he said that you're trying to be a pioneer. And I said, no, sir, I'm not. Yes, you are. You're a pioneer, and I'm here to tell you, pioneers get killed. I said, all right, sir, you have a great day.
Oh, wow.
Hung up the phone. I got on my computer, and I sent an email to every city council person there was. I probably should have gotten in trouble about doing it, but I literally begged them to vote that project down because I could see a different vision, something better for the city of Missouri City.
Right.
Lo and behold, thank goodness, some kind of way the project did not go forward with that gas station, and sitting right here now on that land is HCC.
Wow.
And that's where it should have been anyway.
Yeah, that was a complete game changer. 'Cause I know at one point, before we was born, obviously, at the time, when my parents was here in the 80s, Briargate, that whole, Really Ridge was the school.
Yes.
That was the premier school.
Yes.
When, at that time, Briargate, Hunters Glen, all that was nice.
Oh yeah.
So, you probably already answered already, but I just want to ask it still, like, what happened between the 80s and then the 90s and then 2000s, then now, like, what was the game changer for us to be like, okay, why is it dwindling down?
It's exactly what I talked to you about earlier about somebody has to get on city council that has a forward-thinking approach. You got to be thinking about these subdivisions of what is this going to look like 30 years from now, 40 years from now.
Yeah.
We got to put policy in place where this stuff does not fall down.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line. And honestly, Missouri City grew at such a rate that I don't think they saw this.
Right.
It was just all land. And so all of a sudden, and thank goodness for our 4 persons that served on city council first, because they are the ones that put in place all of the ordinances and things that we have now, which is great. And we have other developers that are streamlining more towards our end, over here off of 6, if you will, and they're following those ordinances. And so we see it starting to look different. Well, it's just growth. It's how people start to live, play, and do things differently. Back then in the 80s and stuff, when those homes were built over on 2234, those people were younger.
Yeah.
And so as their children grew, they started to move away. And so now that part of town is a little bit older than the more vibrant
Right.
over this way. So if that's the case, and if that's our category of age category that's living over there, why don't we have things in place that are matching our current citizenry
Right.
that's over there?
Exactly. And it
And we don't
it
have
kind
it.
of goes towards like, so it's crazy because I always had these questions about Missouri City, like especially with schools,
Oh boy.
like with high schools. Like we talked about the Riddle Ridge earlier, how that was the premier school. I'm not familiar with Katy. So when I think of Katy, I think of just one school, Katy High School. I'm pretty sure there's other schools
There
built
are.
out there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
but
lot of
like,
schools still
are
built.
there any? Well, I'm not gonna say any, but there might be some next to Katy High School. But I always felt that growing up, my family went to Riddle Ridge, my siblings went to Riddle Ridge, and I always felt like the game changed when Marshall was built.
Yeah.
And I always said,
I'll take it back. I really think when our town was built, because they were taking some of that Willow Ridge talent too.
yeah. And then when they especially built the Marshall, I feel like that's when the game changer was. And I'm talking from a sports perspective.
Sure. Sure.
But I'm thinking about all these schools that's being built. Now you got Siena, you have Elkins, but then you had Ridge Point after. And now they're building a Crawford High School, which I appreciate because the black lady I found out that's building that school, and she wants at Crawford kids that has a great GPA.
Exactly.
So I like that. That's not a problem. But how do you feel just like with all these schools being built like one, like a stack on top of each other in the same area?
Let's be honest about it, y'all. Let's be honest and real about it. Um, Most of the time, the way development moves, and I'm telling y'all, real estate and development is one of the most interesting and intricate pieces of business that happens.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the city of Missouri City being built upon a bedroom community. So the more rooftops we continue to sit inside of the city of Missouri City, that drives the potential for the need of more schools.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Let me hit you with another statistic. This is the truth when you brought up schools. Fort Bend County, I'm talking about that's all of Missouri City, Sugar Land, and everything that we got.
Yeah.
Fort Bend County is the number one fastest growing county in America.
I believe it.
I never do that.
No, I believe it.
In America, it's the fastest growing county. Fort Bend County, and I forgot what number it is the wealthiest county. It's one of the wealthiest county. I'm talking about in the top 1 through 10. Okay, so if we are one of the wealthiest counties in America,
Wow.
47% of the schools and 47% of the kids in our schools they live below poverty. Poverty. I said poverty. Poverty. 47%. 47%. So please look at your face. You're trying to figure out that mathematics. Mom, did you just sit here and tell me that we're the number one fastest growing? Yes. And did I just tell you that somewhere between number 1 and 10, and I honestly think it's number 7, we're the wealthiest county. And Missouri City is very high up on the population. But Mom, did you just sit here and tell me that 47% of the kids that go to our schools live below the poverty line? Yeah, that's what I just got through telling you. However, schools on top of schools, you're right. But a vast majority of the wealth that's in Fort Bend County, those kids go to private schools.
Right.
And that's just the truth of the matter.
Wow.
Here's the deal. If we don't get our schools right, and if we don't sit the right type of housing in here, we need more housing. We need different types of housing, affordable housing. We need that too. We even need that right here in Missouri City. We really do.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do that, that's not going to bring in more kids. And then they're going to keep having to do this redividing the lines.
Yeah.
So the kids have to go switch and go to different schools and all of this kind of stuff. We age out.
Yeah.
Look at y'all. Y'all were kids when y'all were all hanging out on Turtle Creek.
Yeah.
And then the rest of y'all time growing up right here, back here with us here in Lake Olympia. Y'all were
Right.
kids. Y'all are now 30 years old.
Yeah.
So you told me yourself, Mom, I don't even live here anymore.
Yeah.
Y'all grow up and move away. But if we don't keep our houses up or reinventing new houses, bringing in new types of housing, we're not going to be able to fill these schools up.
Yeah.
if they're sitting on top of each other. And all the other smart kids, they're in
Yeah, because like I was telling somebody the other day, it don't make no sense that you know Elkins, Ridge Point, and Hightown is almost all a 10-minute radius from each other. No.
But do the math, D. If we got 77,000 citizens in our city, just in Missouri City, we have about 77,000 people. And the city is about 66, 67 years old now. I think that's the age. It's in the 60s. How big is Missouri City? Yeah. If I go stand in the middle of, if I stand at City Hall, no, I don't even want to do City Hall. Do you understand that between here, City Hall, it's about 8 miles between City Hall and Pearland,
Right.
and between City Hall and going, say, out towards Manville Way or Fresno, well, past
Right.
Fresno. It's only
Like
8
Roseanne.
miles.
Yep.
So I'm saying that to tell you that the city of Missouri City really isn't a large city. We're not talking about 20 miles.
Yeah.
But we got 77,000 people here.
Right.
We need the schools.
You do. And then you seen Sienna too. They separate themselves and not being part of Missouri City no more. They naming themselves as Sienna, Texas. I just found that out.
Yeah.
You know, when you look it up on the address, it's like Sienna, Texas.
Yeah.
So it's like they divide themselves like, hey, we're not part of Missouri City, y'all. Like,
Well, they really are not.
yeah.
They really are not. Speaking from what I know, Johnson Development, when they decided to do that bear out there at Sienna, I mean, and I like it. Sienna is absolutely beautiful. And what a lot of people don't know about Sienna is 25 years old. From the moment if I'm going up Highway 6 and I turn right to go into Sienna, everything from right there, when I turn right all the way down to that big bridge that starts to go over, all of that's 25 years old.
Yeah.
But it's stunning.
And it's still growing.
Beautiful. Oh, they got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah,
By
they're
the
not
time
done.
Sienna is done, there'll be over 30,000 houses out there. More rooftops. Now, here's the deal. This is why they are not part of Missouri City. They are in what we call the city's ETJ, or the extraterrestrial jurisdiction.
Okay.
The city of Missouri City really doesn't want to annex them as of yet until all of their debt is taken care of.
Okay.
So when you're talking about all the streets that have to go in, sewer lines, your plumbing, all your infrastructure, everything that it takes in order to run that big subdivision, well, if the city annexes them right away, then that becomes our debt. But until all their debt is taken care of, all their infrastructure and all that stuff is over with and all the debt is paid off, maybe the city of Missouri City will take a look at annexing them. But by the time they might be so big and strong, they may stay Sienna, Texas. I like that you peeped that game because that's probably the route they're headed, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just seen that last month, and that was crazy to me. I was like, wow, like, because I knew Sienna every time I drive into Sienna, I'm like, it's its own city. Like, from the front of Sienna to the back of Sienna, it's 20 minutes without traffic.
Without traffic, that's correct. And I mean, they're getting ready to get a filibuster to come around there because Fort Being Told has already kind of started wrapping around them. And now the Fort Being Told is going to wrap them all the way out, and it's going to meet them at Highway 59. So these people are going to be running like mad.
I'd be scared to live in Sienna. And I'm still at the point that I still go out at times. I would be scared for like one of the nights if I live in Sienna and I have to drive through Sienna.
Yeah.
I would be like, yo, I'm very nervous. I might need to call an Uber.
I got you.
Like, that is crazy. And then, speaking of, I kind of want to go to this part of it, is the policing aspect. Me personally, I haven't really seen any like crazy cops in Missouri City. But like, what's the one thing that people always message you about or call you or text you about? It's like, hey, I want to see this, and this change. What's that one thing?
Yeah, as far as policing is concerned.
Policing or anything that's in Missouri City. Because I brought up the policing part because I don't know anybody else's experience with it, but I haven't really seen like cops out in Missouri City like really just. I seen they got the department on 2034, but overall I haven't really experienced like nothing bad when it comes to the policing part.
You know what? I can't really speak on anything bad that I've seen about our police departments at all, about our police department or any of the police that I've run across the side of the city. I want to give them a shout out because I remember when my boys were 16 and they tried to throw a party over at the Woods Clubhouse.
No, Mom. We were.
How old were y'all?
No, we were in the freshman year
Of college. Yeah, y'all were 18.
Peyton was
That's
going. No. That's when
right.
Peyton was going to Concordia.
Concordia.
That was his going away
Okay,
party.
okay. I couldn't remember the age, so pardon me. I'm sorry.
Was I there?
Yeah, I think you were, but we'll
We'll
Okay.
get to it. You know, it was so cool because some kind of way they went inside the clubhouse, and they had permission to be there,
Right.
but as African American young men, they set the alarm off, and the police immediately came.
Yep.
But the police didn't mistreat my boys. But also my boys were equipped to understand how to pay attention to that, follow the commands of the officer, this, that, and all of these things.
Right.
And thank goodness somebody spoke up and said, hey, my mom, Sonny Brown Marshall is affiliated or whatever. So they made a couple of phone calls and we verified that. And they let our boys go. So we haven't had, as far as personal problems, with the police. And I haven't really heard anybody else say that they've had a personal problem with police. You always see stuff on the internet. But I do want to send another special shout out to Officer Sepulveda, who was recently shot in the line of duty out here in the city of Missouri City. She's doing great. She's recovering, and she's a soldier. And sister, I appreciate you because that was just an unfortunate thing from what I understand. And this is recently, so this just happened. So this is fresh. She was working night shift. And from what I understand, I believe it may have been a stolen vehicle. Missouri City saw it. They gave chase, but the whole deal ended up ending right there on the edge of in Houston, which is y'all know Houston is right here at us.
Right.
And when they got out to give chase, the man shot her. He shot her in her face. And,
Wow.
It is what it is. Cowards, but he was apprehended, and Officer Sepulveda, she'll survive. She'll need some therapy, but she'll survive. She will.
Speaking of that too, what's your thoughts about not even just Missouri City, but like just the violence and crime overall in the city of Houston? Because I always said just the last couple of years since COVID hit, people has been moving to Texas, especially Houston. And we literally seen like a complete 180 of the crime.
Yeah.
And it's like every day my citizen have to go off. A man got shot.
Yeah.
Somebody walking around machete down the street.
Yeah.
This, that, and the third. Just all crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So like, what is your thoughts on like just the crime and what you seeing in Houston? Like, what you think is like the factors of why crime has gone so crazy?
Man, that's a deep question. It really is. I think I don't know what it really is, but I have a theory. Some friends of mine, when we sit and we talk, this is the one thing that we talk about all the time. Our society right now is here now. It's fast. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Even you kids, y'all make money now faster and earlier at earlier ages than we did.
Yeah.
And I mean that. That's real.
Yeah.
And everything right now it's in your face. It's social media, and it's all braggadocious, and people just want what they want.
Mm-hmm.
On top of now with more increased fantasy drugs, if you will, people getting hooked on things that that we just really didn't have access to a long time ago. And then a lot of times we got people that are they're glorifying some of this stuff. Yeah. And so I think a lot of the crime that we're seeing, some of it is fueled by drug addictions that are happening from a place of it's fun, it's hip, this is cool, this is what we're doing. And I'm talking about your hypnotic stuff, I'm not talking about crack cocaine.
We're talking about something crazier than that.
Crazy stuff.
Fentanyl,
yes.
Like,
yeah.
Where do you get that from?
Right.
Young kids are having it.
Yes.
It's some Gen Zs.
So you have that part, you something else. So you have that part of the, and hey, y'all, this is real talk. This is the culture. It's real.
It's crazy.
So you have that I believe part of that is fueling a lot of the crime. And then again, everything is so polarized. It's right in your face. So those that don't have it, I want it, and I want it right now. And that's my opinion.
I just want to touch on like how important is the vote, because I know that that's something that we're stressing. especially to the younger generation, the young kids that has the ability to change. Because I think, when we were at the gathering a couple of weeks ago, you just said like your local can help more than like the national team. So I just want you to just kind of just chime in on just like how important like these votes count like in every aspect, not just your position, but in every aspect.
Oh, that's a deep question. That's so good. It's a really good question too. Let me tell you something. Voting is your number one right, as society. It just living here in a peaceful society. If you don't vote, don't complain. Just don't. And not only for my position, like what you said, son, but let me tell you how critical voting is right now. And I'm not, vote for whoever you want, because my race is nonpartisan, meaning it's not Democrat, it's not Republican, it's nonpartisan, it's not independent, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But when I'm encouraging everybody, go in that booth this year. Please go in that booth. It is critical that you go in there. We have some things that are happening right now, even at the top plethora of the government. Right now, we got 3 men that sit in our highest form of ranking Texas government that are making decisions about female reproduction rights.
Yep.
Somebody better go sit them down and just have a conversation with them. I'm not saying don't vote for them, but you have got to be careful with who is in there. I don't want something to happen to some young lady and it's a situation where it's rape, or if it's a situation where it's incest involved. And basically, you 3-headed men that are sitting up here at the highest form of our government, y'all forced rules on us by making our state representatives have to come back in because you knew you had the controlling vote, and y'all changed all these rules that can do damage to our children. So you want to talk about the importance of voting? I'm a woman, so I'm speaking on women's health issues right now.
Yeah.
That's real right there.
Yeah.
All the way down. This year, when y'all get inside those booths, the ballot is going to be long. And bless y'all's hearts in Harris County, because the ballot gonna be so long, y'all gonna get tired.
Yeah.
But in Fort Bend County and in Harris County, vote down that ballot. You go from the top all the way down to the bottom. If you hit one of the races and you don't know any of the candidates, skip that one, go to the next one. You keep going. And then at the end, once you get through voting for everybody that you were absolutely sure on, then go back up to the spaces that you did not check and then vote. This year is going to be one of the most critical years ever. Because I'm talking about the highest form of government. They also changed laws and rules on us this year, where not a long time ago, but last voting time, we could walk into the booth and just say Democrat. You could push just the D and it would vote for everybody that was Democratic.
Yeah.
Or you could push just the R and it would vote for everyone that was a Republican. You didn't even have to know them.
Yep.
This year, no.
A, B, C, or D.
You better know it.
Yeah.
You better understand, do you want a Democrat in there or do you want a Republican in there? And if you don't know your candidates, get to know them.
Do your research.
Do your research. But it is critical. It is critical now more so than ever, because voting is not just about big politics anymore, or the old white boy theory. I'm sorry for saying that, but it's the truth.
It's affecting lives.
It affects lives. Give me some, son. Yes, it affects lives. This is serious. So voting is critical.
Yeah.
It's the number one thing we all gotta do.
Yeah, I think everybody opened their eyes in our age range, especially when 2016 happened.
Yeah.
That's when we was like, we ain't gonna vote. And then all of a sudden we seen who was in office as president. And it's like, oh, shoot. All right, this is real. But then 2020 hit, and we see what happened with that.
Yeah.
And, especially in Texas, what's going on right now with Abbott and everything. Like, it's, when you say most critical, it definitely is. Because, like you said, a lot of things are happening in front of our eyes, and a lot of people really don't know it. And this is the most important election, especially living here in Texas, my lifetime. Because if he wins that again, another 4 years of that, you never know what can happen in the next 4 years in the state of Texas.
We don't know what's going to happen, but do our research, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do our research. And again, my race is nonpartisan, so I'm not here to speak for Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I encourage everybody, hey, vote for whomever you like.
Yeah.
That's I'm not a problem here on that. All I'm saying is do your research.
Yeah. And I do want to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to do that.
Yeah, because I had this one question. So as long as I've known Easy
Okay.
for 13 years,
Okay.
I never knew the story of like why he calls you mom and you son. But I knew you knew Peyton because I knew him around the same time. But I never knew the story. I promise I do not know the story. So I don't know the background behind the
What's the camera
backstory.
girl already laughing?
Please do not knock nothing down. Because it's like since how old? Like
2009, baby.
so 2009.
March 2009.
What happened?
What happened? Great question.
Because people gonna look at this and be like, Mom, you don't look like light skinned dark.
He said, yes, we
We
do.
both beautiful, baby. You know what it is.
We both beautiful.
They be like,
I'm done. And he said, you're out
We both beautiful, baby. You know.
because they gonna be like, all right, so we always say, I might call you mom, and they're like, hey mom, how's it going? But like he like
I love it. So real talk.
Okay.
You want to tell it?
I can tell it.
I just want the detailed story.
Okay, well, the detail story. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I played for a AAU team called Mo City Ballers. I think everybody knows that
Yep.
team. Shout out Coach Danny. He's still running that organization, 20 years strong. I was looking for teammates. Peyton, my brother. I actually asked him to be on my team. So I asked him to be on my Missouri City basketball team in class. I was like, man, I need to find some teammates. So Peyton was one of the guys. I said, hey, Peyton, we got a game at the gym.
And they didn't like each other.
Yeah, no, it's not we didn't like each other. We just weren't the best of friends. I just always I respected Peyton's game. I just never thought he was better than me. But that's here on there. But like I was like, all right, bet. And then all of a sudden, he comes to play. But it's funny because he always tells me he wasn't really supposed to come and play that weekend. But I don't know what happened. He ended up coming and playing anyway. And then it was just a weekend. It was just a good weekend. It was me, him, and my friend Andre Mitchell. Shout out Dre. Me, him, and Andre Mitchell. And then it just kind of just literally clicked from there. But my mom, biological mom, my mom, she was working overseas for a company called KBR at the time in Kuwait. My brother and sister had already been in college at University of Oklahoma, so initially I would have been home by myself. But at 16, I was actually home by myself for like 3 months. I was at home by myself. And then one day I get a story that Peyton, my brother, he asked my mom right here, hey, the African boy needs somewhere to stay because he stay with us. He didn't act like that.
He didn't say it like that.
But
Let me take the story
go
from here.
ahead.
This is hilarious. This is all true.
Okay.
And what were you gonna say?
Cause I was gonna tell him to pause right there because when he comes to you and say, hey,
I'm gonna pick it up
this guy wants to stay with us, what is your reaction?
So
Remember the first thing you said though?
What was it?
Remember, you talking about that crazy boy who was cussing out everybody?
Oh yeah.
The first time they saw me play, I was cussing
He was
up.
cussing so bad.
Well,
I was like, what? And it went like this. Hey, Mom, can Easy spend the night? But everybody spent the night at our house, so it was no big deal. Everybody was there. The whole AAU team, everybody on the team would always stay. Yeah, Easy can stay, no problem. So Easy stays. 2 weeks later, Easy's still there. I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, Peyton, what's going on? Ma, I need to talk to you. I said, okay. So Peyton kind of gives me this background or whatever, but by this time, Easy is so quiet in the house until half the time I would forget he would be there.
Right.
I mean, he wouldn't hardly eat. He would come down. He was just very self-sufficient. He acted like he didn't really want to bother anybody, if you will. And so I was like, well, let me find out about his story. Let me see what's going on with this kid. And because he was there for a while, and I was thinking to myself, oh Lord, he cusses a lot. But he wasn't a bad kid. He just cussed a lot. And you still cuss a lot. But so I said, Easy, tell me your story. What's going on? So he shared the story with me. and that he did have some family members and some of the mother's friends, you know, that were helping here or there or whatever, but it just never really seemed like a good fit. And so I talked to his mom on the phone. I did.
Yeah.
Now I learned to speak Africa real fast.
Bro, UK, shout out UK.
So,
Shout out Mr.
so when you on the
UK.
phone with UK, what's how you like?
It was kind of hard to understand her because Miss UK has a
Heavy
a
accent.
heavy
Heavy, yeah.
accent. It's
Heavy.
very heavy. But while it was hard for me to understand her, what I heard in that was her compassion. And oh my gosh, I would be ever so grateful if my son could stay there.
Right.
She was trying to offer money, and I was like, hey, we're okay, you know, whatever. But I mean, and she did. She would send us money every month, and he just fit right on into our family dynamic without a problem. We had a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
We went to 4 proms,
Yeah, oh yeah, oh, we
2 proms apiece.
we weren't really supposed to go to the second one, but we made it.
Yeah, they were on punishment.
Yeah. Hold on. Can you tell the story when you took the phone and UK was trying to?
Oh my God. Yeah, they had both gotten into trouble at school. And so my thought process is, you know what? If one gets in trouble, y'all are both in trouble because I already know if I punish one and take his phone, he's going to use your phone.
Yeah.
So give me both phones. So I put them both on punishment. I take both of their cell phones. So I have the phones with me at all times. So that way they can't go rummaging through the house looking for the phones and getting on them. UK, your mom, she calls me, Miss Sonya, I cannot raise Matthew. I have called his phone.
Matthew.
I have called Matthew. I have called Peyton. Peyton! I have called Peyton phone. I have called Matthew. I can't raise nobody. It's been 3 days. Oh, Miss UK, they're fine. I have their phones. What? I said, yes, I have their phones. They are on punishment. Did you want to talk to Matthew? Because they can't go nowhere either. Okay. He get on the phone. He said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I could hear her. And you better not be over there. You better not. Cause she was giving him the business. Oh, my God. But let me tell you something. This boy, this kid, this man, this now man, to have been entrusted to stay in that house, get up and go to school every day. He never missed school. He went home every day from school and went inside that house and stayed in that house with no trouble. He never got in any trouble. And I know that this is true, even though he stayed by himself for 3 months.
The one person I have to shout out,
Yeah.
thanks to that, Andre Mitchell came over every weekend.
Andre
My boy Dre,
Mitchell.
he came over every
Every
weekend.
weekend.
Every
Yeah.
weekend.
And then after Easy moved in with us, then Andre was
Okay.
with us
Every
every
weekend,
weekend
Yeah.
too. Every weekend. But he never got in any trouble.
I just want to chime in. Like, I know through that, it was kind of a tough time for me a little bit, but I think they made everything better because at that point, I went through some family issues.
Yeah.
I just think living there, they taught me so much. It's just the little things that make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my mom, before she talked to me, she's like, these people could teach you something I probably really, really can't teach you. But I always tell my mom, without her foundation, I can't go, I wouldn't be in that position. I said, Mom, you did the work. They just finished it off for you while you were just gone. But like I just said, if you didn't raise me the correct way and raise me the right way, trust me, I would have never been there. And I said, knowing that I have 2 older brothers and sisters who also set the foundation, like being a part of a family, that's probably the easiest part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know me and Peyton, we get into it all the time, but like, there's no dude that I respect more than him because I said, I know what he done for me. Like, that's why I said, my brother, sometimes he's known as misunderstood. My brother Peyton will always be known as misunderstood. But I said, that's the most caring individual off top. So that's kind of leads into one of my questions, man. Just talk about your firstborn, your son Peyton, because I said, I know what he's done for me, and I know what he's done for a plethora of others. But I just know that I see a part of you in him all the time. So just talk about how his strength makes you keep going day in and day out.
If I tell you it is that child's strength, you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I know.
But
It'd be the first. Nobody cried yet.
no, I mean I'm serious. This kid, from the moment he was born. You know how they always say, there's always something every human being will experience in life, and that experience will forever make them smile or make them happy, and can make them mad, even when they don't want to be any of those things.
Right, right.
Um, Seeing all of y'all really now, and at y'all's ages, and seeing what y'all are doing. Honestly, when I look back on, even Peyton's childhood, and even y'all's upbringing, y'all are ready for this.
Yeah.
Y'all got some good stuff, that good stock that was poured into you.
But I would say before you go, as much as that we were made for this, I tell people a lot that you're responsible for a lot of these kids being successful and they don't even know, because a lot of people came through that Turtle Creek, that 2143, and not just, sometimes they don't even come to see me and Peyton. They just came to see her to talk because I tell everybody right as of right now, she is the most understanding individual that I know. The most understanding individual, and that's the only reason why I said I have to support her, because I said she was able to deal with me. And the thing is, she reads me so well. She knows when I'm pissed and she knows when I'm hungry. That's all I can say. She knows, like, hey man, go get that man some food.
Go get him something.
But the thing about it is, but she's that same person with everybody. So that constant has been the same since March of '09. So that's the only thing that I have to give her flowers, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not the man that I am without you. And I know my brother is not the man that he is without them. But the thing is, you've done it for a lot of people. My boy D, my boy Jono, Kill, Josh, J Hell, DJs in the background, a plethora of our friends that are girls. We know what you stand for, and we know what you're about. Like I tell people, when I define you, it's just more like you're cut from a different cloth. And that's the thing that I try to take from you and emulate from you, is just I can pick your brain about anything. She's rolling up there, going against the grain, going against the big dogs, especially as an African American woman.
Yeah.
That's why this interview is so special, because I've seen the growth. I've seen it since 2009. Yeah. So for her to take the next step, but the thing about it is, as much as she took the next step, I'm just happy to know that you're doing this for you, because for Peyton, it's been 28, 29 years, but you know what? I'm going to just round it up. It might as well be 29 years for me too. You've always put the others before you. Yeah. So this is why, me and Akil, we had to do this, because we knew how you open your doors to other people. We know how you help friends out. You just told the story with Akil, with the Kroger in the car, man, I would have got you. And but the thing is,
I just didn't notice it, and I wished I had noticed it, because it would have, no doubt, it would have been done, and I'm just done with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. That right there is what Peyton has given to me.
Right.
Peyton he has that way about him. He knows so many people. He just has that reach.
Oh yeah.
And touch, and when they come here to our home, he just lets them know, hey, this is what it is. But the one thing about him that I love so much about my son is that no matter what, we can talk about it. And when like you say, he gets in his misunderstood mood, I give him his space. But at the same time, he knows that I'm right here. And sometimes he's going to challenge me, and at the same time, he's going to make me be my best. He's not going to let me give up. It's so funny. People get on social media and they post these things about Happy Son's Day and this and that. And I went through my phone and I was looking for a picture of me with them, or both of us, or whatever, so I could post for Happy Son's Day. Well, after I got going, it was so funny, because Easy had texted me that morning and was talking to me about us doing the podcast and what we needed to do. And he ended it with something that was so encouraging and it was so uplifting. And then Peyton had text, and we were going backwards and forwards about something about the campaign. And then both of them ended it with something uplifting and great. But it was encouraging, because it was a rough day on that day. And I said, this is my post. This is who's riding with me. So my son, Peyton, I thank you, son, for riding with me to this day.
Yeah.
If I tell y'all, he has even stepped up big time for this campaign. He
Yeah.
has put a lot of money into this effort.
Man, he tell listen, I tell people right now, and DJ can attest to it, I was not trying to go to Mexico, really. But that boy
Oh,
Payton
no,
said...
he's going to make sure that you are
Yeah,
celebrated and you
boy,
are
I was
loved.
not trying to go, but that boy Payton said, you've been talking about this for a year. There's only a few people that can really get in my ear. You know,
He's one of
yeah,
them.
he's one of them. You know,
He's
actually a plethora. Actually, all these
Everybody.
people that right can get in my ear. But
Yeah.
like, I already know what it is.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to politics, people running for office, any position, city council at large, judge, mayor, president, a lot of people that vote, a lot of people don't look at the political side. They, to an extent, they want to know the person, like we talked about earlier, get to know the person. So I think the family portion is so important for people to understand because they looking at, you being a mom, a wife, you having kids, and you bringing him into the equation in 2009. I think that's the important part that people need to understand and be like, wow, like,
Yeah, our family, I'm sorry.
No. But you can go ahead. I
You'll
can wait.
remember?
Yeah.
The funny part about you saying the family life and then me bringing him into it, our family dynamic is so cool. It's beyond belief. Easy did come into our life. And I got to give a big shout out to my husband, Anthony Marshall, because that dude, that's Peyton's dad also, but it's not Peyton's biological dad. That's
Right.
Peyton's dad as well, stepdad. And his thought process was, I would be the one fussing in the house. Oh my God, we just bought $400 worth of groceries and all these kids, they've eaten up everything in one day. And he would always be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all right. It's okay. They can eat it up. I'm going to go buy more because I know where they are. They're here. They're either out on the driveway playing basketball, or they're here playing video games or whatever, but they are here. And I'm eternally grateful to him for that.
Yeah.
There's another side to our family, which would be Peyton's biological dad,
Right.
Ron Simon, and his beautiful wife, Teresa Simon.
Right.
We are friends, and we have deep love for one another. So my two boys, they ended up with two moms, two dads, and we ride hard for our kids.
Yeah.
Hard for them. You can't call me to that school and tell me my son did nothing. That's fine. I tell you what, because I don't want to sit in here with these principals and teachers for too long talking, because when you're sitting there and talk to them too long, you give up too much information.
Right.
Tell me what they did. Okay, that's what they did. What is their punishment? All right. He got to go home for 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. What is it? Okay, not a problem. Come on here, son, because you ain't had no business doing that anyway. Get in this car. Then when we get in the car, it's going to be a slow, silent ride. Then when we get home, I'm a piner. I'm going to plot it out. Give me all your clothes, all your shoes, everything in the bag.
Levi's, the polos.
The Levi's, the polos, the Nikes, the Jordans,
J's.
everything. J's. It's all over with. Here come Daddy Anthony. Do you see what those kids are going to school in? I left them with one shirt, one pants, one shoes. That's all. Do what you're supposed to do. Just go to school. Get decent grades. I already knew their weaknesses. I knew this one wasn't going to bring in straight A's and B's. I understood that.
So you bring home 71. That was like a
Let me
90.
tell you something. We were celebrating.
Yeah, bro, what, man? Don't do that.
But classes that I knew he could do well in,
Yeah.
I expected better. Now I knew Peyton struggled in math.
Yeah.
So I ate 71. Oh Lord Jesus.
I'm the same way.
Glad.
Math and
Glad.
science, I
But,
can give a.
I don't understand, English,
Right.
history, stuff that all you got to do is read and understand. But then we had to also learn easy read backwards, or dyslexic. So we had to understand that what Peyton needed wasn't what Matthew needed,
Yeah.
and that's just parenting.
Right.
You love them the same, but you got to give them what they need.
Yeah. And the importance of parenting, because I'm not trying to make this of myself, but like I'm in a situation where I have a son, and then His mom has a husband, and they have kids themselves.
Okay.
And it's always people always ask me like, how's you and the dad, well, stepdad and all that? We're fine.
Yeah.
How's you and the mom? We're co-parenting. We're great. We have to learn. We 21 years old. We had my son. So it takes growth and it takes a village. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you ever thought about it, but like, you ever thought about what if Miss Sonya said no, or Mr. Anthony said no? You ever thought about that?
I don't think about it.
Yeah.
But I would say this. I know I have the utmost respect, and I said knowing you came that heavy hand, I was raised the right way. So like, but the thing about it is, this is really the funny part about it is, I didn't even know that question was asked. Peyton just one day just told me, "Oh yeah, you live here now." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I gotta go home." Like, no, my mom already talked to your mom. Nobody told me I was staying there. They like, I knew I kept sleeping over, but nobody. I was told by Peyton because he was like, yeah, bro, you don't stay. Yeah, you stay with
So
us.
he hit you with the look at me, I'm the captain now. type
No.
of thing.
He's just like, you stay with us now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, so that was it, And
Yeah.
I think mom asked me one day, what do you need, son? I said, bread, meat, and cheese, and we good. And it's still the same thing to
It's
this
still
day.
the same
I said, bread, meat, and cheese, we good. But that leads to my question, Mom. I just really want to know because I really never knew. But I was an unknown commodity. Why did you take that chance?
I already sized you up. I knew what it was. I already knew what this was. You weren't a bad kid, easy. You were easy to get along with. And no matter what, most importantly, if I had to go away to go to work, or if I died, or something happened to me, and Peyton was left alone, I would have wanted someone to do what I did for Peyton.
Okay.
That fair?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I do want to ask this too, cause I think you touched on it earlier. We were talking about you running for city council at large. Wife, successful. You got kids, you got your dog running around, you got your,
You IQ, beautiful and light skin.
right, right, right. You got everything you need. You can kick up, kick your feet up, watch TV. Just do whatever.
You just wait for the grandkids.
I am waiting on Granny.
Right. But
Hint, hint.
the thing is this though. Why go through the stress of running for city council at large? Why? That's what I want to know is why.
You promised me that you would not hit me with any of those.
I had to ask this question. I had to ask that question because I know you said the job with Easy and Peyton, but like you got everything. You got everything that you asked for. You wanted. You was young and successful.
But before she answers that, I said, knowing this woman and knowing what she's done, the one thing that I said, I know what mom is, and the one thing that I appreciate about her is the leadership, is her ability to adapt. So I really just think I know mom. It's always the move forward mentality, like she said. And I just feel like the one thing that she will never she'll always hold accountable for her family, and especially me and Peyton and my dad upstairs is we can't get complacent.
Right.
And I think so that's what I would say.
I like that.
And you ain't got to. I'm just asking. I'm asking from that side.
I like that. I don't have a problem with that. And Easy is spot on. I am always what's next. I thought I was gonna retire at age 55 because that was what my goal was then. But oftentimes our goals are just that. They're goals. They're either meant to be stretched or they're meant to be pushed forward just a little bit because we now have little sprinkles of things that have come in, and those little sprinkles of things are called blessings.
Yeah.
And it allows us to expand and to grow more. And so our vision sometimes just changes a little bit. And so I now clearly see that I'm not going to retire at the age of 55. And I thank all of the companies out there that are writing to me, sending me letters in the mail, sending me emails, constantly wanting to buy my business. But that vision has now changed.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thank God right now that I've had enough growth to where I can have staff, and I'm blessed enough to still be able to afford them. I'm blessed enough to have even kept my doors open even through COVID.
Yeah.
That in itself. And so when this opportunity came, I thought about it for a while because, I knew I wanted to run, but I was like, I thought my path to running was going to be different.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to do city council, but what I thought my path was going to be was for a totally different seat.
Right.
But no, it said no. You're gonna do it, but you're not gonna do it in that seat. You're gonna do it here.
Right.
So that's it. Period.
What fuels you to get this city up and running and up and better? Because at the end of the day, like I said,
They go to highlight. Yes, sir.
yes,
Here we go.
the special
No. Get your
Okay,
tail off.
wait.
Oh yeah.
Come.
No, sit on my lap.
He wants you.
Sit
over
on
here.
my lap, big guy. Yes, sir.
Everybody meet Bullet. He's in. It's
Come
okay.
on, right here. Oh.
Okay, go outside.
All right, Bully.
Sorry, everybody on the podcast. Sorry.
Y'all probably seen it. I'll do the edit and zoom down. Y'all can see it for that 2 seconds.
He'll come back.
But like I said, what fuels you? Because like you said, you've been a resident of Missouri City for what, 23 years now?
28.
28 years now. So what fuels you and drives you to make sure to get this city back where it needs to be?
Why not?
Hey,
Why
there
not?
it is. There it is.
Why not? I have never been a person to sit back and complain and point fingers and sit and say, why this? Where's this? Why is that not happening? Why? That's just a bunch of whining.
Yeah.
Get up and do something about it. If the things that are paining people, and you clearly see that there is a need, and you want to chip in and volunteer and give of your time, because I promise y'all, being on city council, it don't pay no money. It really doesn't. You have to be passionate and you have to be compassionate about what you're gonna do. I see things right now in my city, and I'm like, that don't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Well, and if I'm looking at it and I'm sitting here just saying, you know what, that doesn't make sense to me. Let me go get myself in a seat where I can make change, where I can be part of the solution. And if I see a problem, I need to be able to work with a group of people in order to get those problems resolved. That's just the bottom line. That's who I am. I'm just action oriented like that.
Do you feel any do you feel any pressure and hurdles from an African American woman standpoint, knowing that like you said, it's this city's been ran by men. This city has been the decision making and the thought process has been ran by men in this city.
You're not supposed
So
to
you knowing your background and your qualification and your confidence, like do you feel the hurdles to kind of get this thing done as an African American woman?
I like that question, because here's the deal with that question. Missouri City is majority African American. We are the majority here in the city of Missouri City. And the pressure that I'm feeling more so is probably just give me a shot. I'm gonna do a good job. No matter if you are white, no matter if you are black, Chinese, Vietnamese, Indian, we're all one race. We're all one race. I don't see color. Yeah. I just don't. I don't. I'm about get the job done. Let's work hard together. Let's get the job done. I'm not worried about my race, because I'm not even going to make that a factor. Why bother? Clearly I'm a woman. Clearly I'm black.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
Can she do the job, and can she do it now? Those are the only two questions that need to be.
Exactly, and I'm glad this other special guest we have showed up, because I always want to have a dog in front of the camera during the episode. So after like 150 plus episodes I have done, I'm glad we got a dog in front. No, you son of. Sorry.
He likes the pretty girl behind the camera better.
Hey man, make sure that
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, he left me.
Come here. Hold on. Let me pull that around. You sure? Well, you should have picked a better more well-behaved dog. Come here.
But it's like I always want this type of dog, though.
You do?
Well, French bulldog.
That's enough. That's enough. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
I thought he was a chill dog, but I guess not.
No, he's still kind of puppy. So she's trying to get him to go over there.
Right.
He's gone.
Well, all right, good.
job.
So it can stay right there.
Okay.
But I want to touch on not so much of the political side.
Perfect. We're done with that.
Yeah, for sure. But more so of like the importance of like family.
Oh my God. My
Like-
family is the number one thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's period. You know, I'm blessed to still have my parents. Shout out to my mom and my pop.
Wow, you still got mom and pop.
I still have my parents, and I'm ever so grateful. I have my 2 sisters. My baby sister Sam, super shout out to her. She is my shero. I promise y'all that. She just battled breast cancer, and she kicked its ass. So yeah, so she's a survivor, and and that knocked the wind out of me. That did. It knocked the wind out of me to find out, that my baby sister had cancer. My middle sister Shara and her shout out to Nene and her husband and my little nephew Dean. I remember when Shara was 9 years old and Shara had a brain tumor. And we were little kids, and I was in junior high school, or middle school, that's what they called it, middle school, and she was in elementary. And she survived that. And I'm eternally grateful to have my family. So that's important.
That's very important.